Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Augusto Argandoña Fine Arts. Anytime in the course of this narrated tutorial, you can click on the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. And I would also appreciate your comments in regards to this particular video, or for that matter, any of the other videos in my channel. I have been receiving your comments and I appreciate them. I don't always have time to answer them in a timely manner, but I always do answer them. So you're welcome to post your comments and questions you may have, and I'll be happy to answer them. This particular video is another one in my 20-minute watercolor series. This happens to be image that it's a composite from about 3 photographs, and I liked some parts of each of those photographs. So I decided to put it together and paint it. And I'm gonna paint it as just after a storm, just after a rainstorm. So the sky will be in colors depicting that type of scenery. So without much anymore to talk about, I'm gonna go ahead and start with this. Obviously, because of my lengthy introduction and explanation of what I'm about to paint, it's not 20 minutes, but it will be 20 minutes once I start using my brush on the paper. So with that, I'll go ahead. I'm gonna start by adding water to the sky area, quite a bit of water actually, like that. It'll be kind of soft sky, but it will have the areas of storm. So quite a bit of water there. I'm going to bring the water over here too, not too much into this area. And immediately after that, I'm going to bring in a little bit of cobalt blue, not too dark, into this area, just like that. Just a little bit of cobalt blue, a little bit more to this area like that. I'm going to darken it just a tad more. And I bring a little bit of ultramarine to it too. Like that. There we are. And now I'm going to make a mixture of burnt sienna and the cobalt blue to get a kind of a gray tone. Very interesting gray that those colors make. And this is where the stormy clouds, gotta get rid of that. Stormy clouds were moving like that. I'm going to bring in a little bit of ultramarine blue into that mixture as well, and put a little bit more of that over here, like that. There, like that. And bring this a little bit more into this area, like that there. Okay. And that's enough for that sky. I'm gonna blend that in, and that's all right. In the meantime, I'm going to bring some water into this area without touching that horizon. it down. Quite a bit of water here too, without touching that horizon. And I'm gonna bring very light cobalt blue again. Like that. Very light cobalt blue. Just bring some of the colors that are in the sky also in some of these areas here on that very wet paper. Come over here. Like that. Okay, it's a very interesting effect there. And I'm going to let that dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to, with a thirsty brush, I'm going to remove the pigment from here, I mean the water from that area. And I'm going to get some of the gray that's in my palette, do a little bit more of that burnt sienna and cobalt blue. Okay, and with that colors, I'm going to do this distant landmass. Very soft. There, like that. Okay, I may go back to that later, but now I will, taking advantage that this is still kind of damp, I'm going to make a mixture of raw umber and cobalt blue. A little bit more of the raw umber and the cobalt blue, a little darker. Make a sort of a grayish tone. And I'm going to come over here and do this distant trees. Not so much distance, I would say middle ground trees. Okay, like that. Like that there. And I'll bring some ultramarine blue and a little bit of undersea green. Actually, a little bit more of those colors. And come over here and do the more of those trees. A little bit of the effect of the detail of the trees and the distance. A little bit more of the undersea green. And this time with some Payne's gray. And come over here and do that on that wet paper. Like that. Bring a little bit more over here. A little bit more of the effect of that, the foliage. I'm gonna bring the color right underneath, or rather on the left hand side of this tree trunk, like that. A little bit more of the Payne's gray over here. Start getting another layer of these trees. Like that. Okay. Now also I'm going to clean my brush, bring some raw sienna with aureole in yellow, but mostly the raw sienna. Do this grassy area over here. And like that. raw sienna with a little bit of undersea green. There, a little grassy area. There, that's done. Okay, now there's some, before I do this area, they're going to do some lighter greens over here. Combine it right there into that. There. There's some lighter greens there. Use some cerulean blue there too. Avoiding those tree trunks. And I'm going to make, bring more raw sienna with undersea green, and come over here and do that vegetation there. Bring a little bit of quinacridone gold deep mixed with the raw sienna and a little bit of sepia, and come over here, and all of this can become muddy areas, you know, vegetation. Like that. I'm going to bring more of some burnt sienna into that mixture, very rich burnt sienna, like that. And I'm going to bring that burnt sienna with the raw sienna mixed into this area, very rich. And also some of the undersea green, very rich too. There we are. And do all the grassy areas and dry brush effects over here. And this on this area, all the way to the edge there. Bring some of those colors over here too. That undersea green, all of this done with the dry brush. Like that. Also going to bring in some sepia to this area like this. And now I'm going to get some water in my brush and blend some of this like that. Bring it right to the edge of the water. Bring those colors, bring more of the raw sienna too. Dry brush effect, a little bit of the green. A little bit of the sepia also, a little darker over here. A little bit of the Payne's gray. Right on this edge of the water. We've got all this, all of this area with kind of a dry brush effect. Like that. And before the paper dries, there's some dry twigs and branches or something like that over here. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. So now I'm gonna go back to the other area. I'm gonna add a little bit of water here. And there, like that. And go back to the undersea green. With some Payne's gray this time. Make this area much darker. Start with the soft effects like this. There. I'm bringing some sepia there too, and more Payne's gray, and do the dry brush effect for the foliage over here. Like that. Same thing over here. Bring a little bit more of the sepia and the Payne's gray, and with the undersea green, and come over here for the lower bushes that are on this area, hugging this grassy area. There, like that. Clean my brush, give it some water, and do a little bit of blending here. Can also give it a little soft effect. And also give another layer to this vegetation. I like that little rough effect there too. There, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just go for a darker value and cooler over here. Like that. Cooler value. And more of that dark green. There. There we are. Okay. And I'm also going to bring some of those dark values over here. Give you some dry brush effect. I still have another, I think about 10 minutes maybe. There we are. I'm going to bring a little bit more green to that area. There we are. Maybe a little bit of that green over here too. There. And this is dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more color to this distant landmass. There, like that. Okay. Now I'll pick up some brown matter, a little bit of cobalt blue, a little tad bit of burnt umber, and do these trunks. And like that. And then I'm going to change brushes, pick up some sepia with a small brush, and do some of these tree trunks. And do the same thing on this over here in this area. Little twigs and stuff that the undergrowth. Like that. In the forest, there's nothing dainty about anything. It has to be done that way. There's some trunks, tree trunks here and there. brushes again. The rigger brush. I'm looking at the watch. I think I have about 5 minutes. Do some of these trunks and branches. And that. Give a little bit more color to these tree trunks. And also some of the branches that are coming out of them. There we are. Lastly, I'm going to take the flat brush, come over here, a little bit of water there, a little bit of water here, quite a bit of water over here, and then I'm going to bring in some raw sienna with burnt umber, very rich, very dark. There's kind of muddy areas over here. And tilt the paper, the board a little bit. Come over here like that. Get some of that green. Combine that water into that grassy area. Bring a little bit of the sepia over here, some of these darker areas. I'm almost running out of time now. We gotta work very fast here. There, like that. And bring some of the green with this muddy color. That. This is dry, so I'm going to wet it a little bit, not much. And then I'm going to bring in some of the cobalt blue with this brown tone. Give a little bit of a movement in the water there. I think I'm going to change brushes. There we are. And some of those colors there in the water. A little bit of ultramarine blue. A little bit of Payne's gray. Bring some of that over here. There. Now I'm going to bring a little bit of the on the sea green over here. There, like that. Okay, and I'm gonna put a little bit of that over here, like that, and that's it. 20 minutes. I think what I'm gonna do here is with a thirsty brush, I'm gonna remove some of these edging a little bit like that. A little bit of that over here. There we are. Okay. 20-minute watercolor. I'm going to remove this this tape. I will bring this is still kind of wet. I will bring a dark board to show you how this looks against the dark background as opposed to this white background. Obviously what I'm doing now is past the 20 minutes. The 20 minutes ended when I said okay, I'm done. So there we are. Here comes the dark board. You gotta be careful because it's still wet. And I'm going to minimize it, and there it is. This forest and a 20-minute watercolor. I'm going to tilt the board a little bit the other way because some of this is beginning to bleed here and I don't want that. So, but I like all the softness happening here, all the texturing of the vegetation, some of these tree trunks, all this vegetation and twigs and sticks and mud and all of that that's typical of forests by the water. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of my 20-minute watercolor, and please visit my website at aafinearts.com, where you will see information about my classes and a selection of my paintings and prints. Until next time.